also put the question in the chat box so you can double check them, okay?
Okay, I can start. Right now I'm far from Italy, and I can definitely say that the thing I'm missing the most is lasagna. It's like I didn't thought that was that, but it's definitely lasagna. Thank you.
I'm the second one. Can you hear me?
Yes, Martina, you can go.
Top ice cream, anzi gelato. The real gelato is my favorite Italian food, and gelato party. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Taruna, you can go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I don't know that much about Italian food because I'm foreigner, but as all world knows, I like pasta. It's always my favorites, but I didn't try in Italy, so I'm sure like there it's definitely better. So yes, I would say pasta.
Mariana, you can go.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So my favorite Italian food is pizza. So one time I went to Italy, and I think that I remember that pizza that I ate in Italy like for all my life. It's the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. John, you can go.
Hello. So for me, it's tagliatelle. I think it's the pasta that my grandfather do almost every time that I go to his home. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
It's me, right?
Yes.
So there are a lot of foods, and it was difficult to decide, but for sure, for me, pane carasau is the food that I miss the most when I go out of Italy, because it's Sardinian food that is you can use in very different ways, and I really like it. It's very good.
Thank you so much, guys, for your first warming up question. Next question is from the Committee of Trieste and is for our OD candidate, Mariana. And the question says, in your application, you said that you envision a bigger weight in plan achievement. Why and how will you do that? You have 30 seconds to think and then 1 minute to answer. Your 30 seconds starts now. Okay, Mariana, you can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so as I have seen in my application, we have now a huge difference between what was planned and what was achieved from the LCs. And even though they are, growing, but I think that the OD model serves to, set a vision and set where people must look for. And I believe that, of course, growth is a priority, but when you think about how can we have better plannings and how can we have better achievement of plannings, and also that with growth, I think that the weight in the model right now it's not setting the right weight that actually planning and achievement has in the health of an entity. And I believe that weight is not only a number, and it's about how you talk about it and how you direction the LCs to talk about it and how you recognize people for that. So it's not only like changing a percentage of the OD model.
Thank you so much, Mariana. Your time is up. Thank you. Next question is for Martina. The question comes from MC, and it says, what would be the main products in your corporate portfolio? You have 30 seconds to think. you can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Thank you. So I would keep youth engagement and CSR as main products. Specifically in terms of youth engagement would be, again, conferences, online promotion, and we can start using it also as an internal reward and recognition, so sending our members, VP, that win maybe internal contest to the companies. And then in terms of CSR, of course, scholarships, project and opening for IGV. And then we could start also with scholarship for employees or the son and daughters of employees. They can also use it as an internal reward and recognition or as a new way of doing CSR. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martina. Next question is for Anna. It comes from the Committee of Trieste, and it says, please list 3 action steps for bringing the Mur Circolare back. You have 30 seconds to think and 1 minute to answer. Anna, your 30 seconds passed. You can answer. You have 1 minute.
Okay, like first of all, the importance of the Circolare being back is because of the fact that EduChange is our main product for the incoming exchanges, so it's like really important. I would try like to reach the old contacts that made us possible to have the Circolare in the first place, and try to make new ones. Or in case it doesn't work, I will try to contact other people, new contacts, and most of all, keeping the relationship not just at personal level, but more institutional level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Next question is for Torunai. It comes from MC, and it says, if you could define the role of the MCVP CXP in 3 main scopes, which would they be? You have 30 seconds to think and 1 minute to answer. So now you can start. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so I would say the first one is managing the operational team, and then second one is developing the products, and the last one is somehow representing the IR. I mean, representing the entity to IR and aligning the action steps with our IR in order to improve the entity and boost the exchanges.
Okay, next question is for our IGV candidates. Dan, you will start. The question comes from the local committee of Trieste and says, list the key bottlenecks of the product management in the entity and the key priorities to focus on during the first semester of MC 1920. You have 30 seconds to think. Danny, you can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so as a first bottlenecks, for sure, we still have a lot of problem with sales. and understanding how to do it, and not also about how we do it, but also about the mindset. So selling for very big project as some LCs are capable to do, and also so we need more education for it, more training for members, and also like we can see that functional visits are very useful. Then also we need to boost other projects, like in the winter peak of last year, we were to focus on the fact that we didn't have circular mule for it to change, and so we have to understand how to boost more projects and what we can do about that. And then in general, also we have to work a lot about the talent capacity, and mostly when to put people when we don't have all the teams and all the people
needed. Thank you so much, Dani. Your time is up. John, you can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay. So one of the key bottlenecks is like IR. I think we have to power up the IR between LC to LCs, and of course the sales capacity, both to sell the products and to sell both to the organizations and to the NGOs, but also to the EPs. And I think for the priorities would be VP's capacity. We have to increase the VP capacity to manage the team, and especially to manage the sales team. So that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Next question is for our OD candidate, Mariana. And the question is, what would you take into consideration in the creation of the National Educational Cycle? The question is from Bologna, and you have 30 seconds to think. Mariana, you now can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so when I think about an education cycle, I think how can we, have members that can perform faster and can make better process and can have achieve more exchanges. And for that, I believe that we must take in consideration all of the ways that you can actually educate a member or educate a VP. So you can have it through, digital means, you can have it through practical experiences. So how can we create a network education cycle that not only gives information, but also gives practice and gives feedback? So how can we create something that follows a timeline, that can have physical touch points, and that every member and every VP can have a feedback from that? So it's about not only giving the tools and giving the knowledge, but how can we access it, and how can we not only through forms, but actually go in there and making visits and understanding the education cycle.
Thank
can be a specific.
Thank you so much, Mariana. Your time is up.
But, okay.
Thank you. And next question is from Trieste and is for Martina. The question says, list down 3 action steps in order to implement the GCP from Poland of clustering our partners. You have 30 seconds to think. Marti, you can go. You have now 1 minute to answer.
Thank you. So first of all, I would start with analyzing, of course, the partner that we have currently and also the ones that we have had in the past, checking which were the services that we gave to them. And secondly, also checking the prices, like what was the revenues that we got from them. Second point, I would also check, let's say, their own website and which are the activities that they are currently doing. And the third thing would be, of course, a proposal that can unite like the upscaling of this partnership to the current interests of the company. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Marti. Next question is for Anna, and it comes from the MC, and it says, list 3 priorities to develop employer branding strategies. You have 30 seconds to think. Okay, Anna, you have now 1 minute to answer.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. It's very important, first of all, that the plenary itself, like IESEC people, know what really what employer branding is, because the point of it is showcasing, of course. So then the point would be like really using it also for making people be aware of how amazing it is to be part of this organization, because sometimes we don't really do how say, like showcasing of our kind of experience. And the third part would be like the third step would be to collect stories and keep them in order to use them like for any kind of activities of awareness about our organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. Next question is for Tolunay. The question is from MC, and it says, how do you envision operations internal timeline for the next term? You have 30 seconds to think. Tolunay, you can start. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so I would say shifting the timeline and then stretching the peak based on local timeline, and then just in order to like for example while approving and at the same time realization, because like basically stretching the peak and for example instead of having the peaks in only 2 months, like approving 5 months long, and then at the same time having realizations in January and then having approvals in January as well. So yes, I would say basically shifting timelines, stretching the peak just in order to have parallel operations.
Thank you so much, Tolunay. Next question is for the IGV candidates. John, you will start. And the question is, what do you think is the main B2E bottleneck? Generally speaking, which are your ideas in order to overcome them? And the questions coming from Bologna. You have 30 seconds to think. John, you can start.
Okay, so I think IESEC is not like the top of mind of the entities or VPs or in Italy yet. So we have to increase how IESEC is marketing in Italy, because I talked with with some of the VPs and some of the MCs. They told me that this is one of the main struggles in Italy. So we have to to be more present in Italy, not just in the universities, but also in online channels and also in the government. Yes, that's it.
Thank you. Dani, you have now 1 minute to answer.
So I think one of the main bottlenecks is about the accommodation. Is always a problem that we can find when selling our products. And as I put in my application, we could try with ER helping to find maybe national agreement also for it. And another thing is about education in the LCs, because very few LCs right now do actually attraction for hosting, and it can help a lot if we are able to find accommodation for the neighbor. And another problem many times is the fee. And about this, there is this start with the GV business model, but for sure we have to understand every reality of the LC and every also NGO, what we can do about that, and trying to have maybe revenues to get more IGVs also for ER, and also still if this IGV business model works, to still if you want to continue it or not.
Thank you so much, Dani. Next question is for our OD candidate, Mariana. The question is coming from MC, and it says, what's the purpose and the role of the OD department? You have 30 seconds to think. Mariana, you can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so the main purpose of the OD department is to set a sustainable path for the entity to continue growing. So we must have a direction clear and all the ways that we can get there very, very specifically defined by the OD model and other tools that we have. And I think in three main points, that is, leading the network to go into that path, building leadership into the team leaders and the LCPs, and also connecting all the strategies inside the MC team, so everyone is going to the same direction. So when I think about the purpose of the OD department, is in these three main aspects.
Thank you so much, Mariana. Next question is for Martina, and it comes from the local committee of Bologna. And the question says, which would be the criteria through which you would choose your target list for partnerships? You have 30 seconds to think, and then 1 minute to answer. You can go now. You have 1 minute to answer.
Thank you. So in terms to choose the partners, new partners that we can work with, for sure, having the same values, like sharing the same values, having a similar vision or mission in their case, because I think having the same goal is like the basic thing. Then, of course, we need to find some partners and companies that have enough funds also to invest, for example, in CSR or in employer branding. Some companies that have a department or some people that take care of this part, because of course not all the companies, especially not the small ones, have these kind of things. So I would invest on big ones, but not like the most famous, because maybe they work with some other entities already, or they have long-term plans. So it could be harder for us to get into their plans in this right moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martina. Next question is for Anna. And the question is from MC, and it says, which is, in your opinion, the goal of the partnership with ISEC Italia alumni. You have 30 seconds to think and 1 minute to answer. You can go.
Okay, perfect. So perfect. For the ISEC in Italy alumni, the goals of the partnership is like supporting each other in order to be kind of connected and in order to have a flow between the two organizations that support each other. For sure, we could implement this kind of relationship in order to have more people getting inside ISEC first, and then more people going then to the alumni part. The alumni part also could support more in order to make to give stories, in order to make people understand what actually the organization can give in a long-term perspective, because that is kind of the most important part of what we do. We basically give a lot of skills to young people in order to give them the chance to have a better future. So this has to be is really important, and the relationship between the two.
Thank you so much, Anna. Your time is up. Next question is for Tolunai. It comes from MC and it says, how do you envision your role as CXP to foster the synergy between IGB and the ER department? You have 30 seconds to think. Tolunai, you can go. You have 1 minute from now.
Okay, the most important point is vision and the direction. So I would say, like, for both sides, being present and planning part and creating the plan in a very clear way, and then ensure some clear projects. And then we should make sure that both of them are on the same page during the planning. And then, yeah, so basically tracking and having the vision.
Thank you so much. Next question is for the IGB candidates. Danny, you will start. And the question says, what should be our biggest sub-product and why? You have 30 seconds to think. Danny, you can go. You have 1 minute.
Okay, so I choose integrate just for the fact that if we don't get, again, the circular Muri, it will be a bit difficult to make EduChange grow a lot. In this moment, I can see in this product a bigger growth in terms of opportunities and the amount of openings that we can have for the same opportunity. And also because I think that we do a very good job when we do EduChange, but the need of integrating now is bigger and it's also more filled in Italy. And so I will choose this, yes.
Thank you, Danny. John, you can go. You have 1 minute.
Okay. For me, it would be EduChange because I think we have more EPs willing to go next stage to do this kind of work, and then the others will have more EPs with these kind of backgrounds, so it's easier to upscale this product. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much. Next question is for our OD candidate, Mariana. The question comes from Bologna, and it says, how would you characterize the ELSIS? You have 30 seconds to think from now. Mariana, your time is up. You can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so one of the things that in my application I said is that right now the clusterization model is based especially on the operations running in the LCs. So one of the things that I think would enhance support, especially for the LSPs, would be to have a clusterization model that is based more on health indexes and with operational indicators, of course, but so we can actually give the support for the LSPs, especially in the health problems, and give us support especially for what you can do to do health goals with the operational enhance. So that's the first thing, and I think that of course we should also have the clusters per operation, so we can have a better operational support, but that would be the main change, I think. And I think the other criteria are very good.
Mariana, your time is up. Next question is for Martina. It comes from the local committee of Bologna, and it says, except from revenues, which could be a lag measure of a partnership? You have 30 seconds to think. You can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
Thank you. So besides revenues, I think that a lag measure could be the people impacted. Could be mainly people impacted directly. So that's more, let's say, manageable and usable in terms of scholarships or in terms of openings. But I think can be something that can tell us how much we are also collaborating and working on exchanges. So people impacting both directly, but also indirectly. So if we have send abroad one EP, then what is the impact that we actually create sending one person abroad with a scholarship, for example? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next question is for Anna from MC, and it says, which should be the main synergies of PR and which are the main objectives of them? You have 30 seconds to think. You can now go. You have 1 minute.
Okay, so basically the three would be the main kind of synergies. For sure with the department, with the art department itself, for like any kind of activity, and specifically then with the other departments would be with network managers, in order to make people know what ER is actually doing, And then also in specific with B2C, because it's like somehow both the figures have to do with what we are for the public, even if it's kind of different kind of public, but there's also always like externals. So it has to be important to be really aligned. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next question is for Tolunai from the local committee of Trieste, and the question says, how would you ensure that functional strategies are aligned and implementable in the whole network? You have 30 seconds to think. You can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
So it's local strategy creation with steering team and with LCPs, with getting their feedbacks whenever we have any strategy, and make sure we have we clusterize our LCs, and then that would be enough.
Thank you so much. Next question is for our candidate, John. The question is from Trieste, and it says, which are the 3 main pillars of your global home strategy? You have 30 seconds to think. Okay, you can go now. You have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, one of the pillars has to be sales. Have to increase like the sales capacity for the members of AESEC to sell the Global Home Program. And the other pillar is the experience itself. We have to make sure that the experience of the hosts are being like it's good, because we need them to host on other EPs on the other in others rounds of EPs, and of course marketing. You have to be present in many parts of in Italy. So maybe in, I don't know, church, schools, university, this kind of places, to ensure that we are attracting a lot of new hosts. That's it.
Thank you so much. Next question is for Dani from Trieste, and the question says, how would you ensure the proper creation and use of LC2LC to boost performances? You have 30 seconds to think. Dani, you can go. You have 1 minute.
Okay, so the main strategy will be, first of all, the education, because talking with the VPs, I understood that most of them don't even know how to do a cool LC2LC. And there is already in the JD of the approval manager, in my opinion, they should be the final responsible of it, and they should have, as I wrote in my application, a very strong synergy with the NSTIR that can educate and be ready for it. Also, there will be a cool push from MSIT, because MC to MC cooperation is already going good, and we should push, for example, already matching some else's, so we can sure that they will be focused on that. And then when doing IR, it's very needed to put non-negotiable. For example, an IR when OGV is not promoting our opportunity, it doesn't make sense to have it. And last thing will be also like OGV should really have a focus not in the entity but in our else's.
Thank you so much, Dani. Next question is for our OD and CXP candidate. The order is Mariana and then Tolunai. The question says, how do you envision the synergy between the OD and operation department and vice versa? You have 30 seconds to think. Mariana, you can start. You have 1 minute.
Okay, so the first thing that I see in synergy is how can OD and operations have a great planning and develop strategies together to have focused LCs or have focused operations, and from that we can have a better synergy, have a better planning together. Then you have specific touch points that always operations has, that has to be pre-planned and has to be very they sit in specific moments to discuss about campaigns, to discuss about how incentive systems, and also the routine is very important, so we can adapt, change, and adapt to what's happening in the network. So having a clear routine of talking and have clear focuses to work and understanding what they can do together to leverage operations.
Thank you so much, Mariana. Tolunai, you can go. You have 1 minute to answer.
I would say basically strong synergy based on LC's needs, same network message, same network management, strategy creation based on clusters, and then of course regular synergy meetings to be on board the network, the team. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you so much. Next question is for all the candidates, and the order is Anna, Martina, Tolunai, Mariana, Dani, and John. And the question says, considering the current state of the entity, please list 3 priorities that you would like to focus on in the department that you are applying for. You have 30 seconds to think and then 1 minute to answer. Anna, you can start.
Okay, would be 2 things actually to be really clear, in the ER department. Awareness about what the ER actually does for the LCs, and make the LCs more connected with it and active within it, because for sure it can give a huge growth for the entity, just making people more aware and active in this kind of field. Thank you.
Thank you. Martina, you can go. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. So looking at the entity right now, I would like, in terms of just focusing on corporate, focus or contribute also to membership engagement. So in terms of trying to engage members, also connecting them with companies and our partners, basically. So physically sending our members also to some of our partners. This is something that can show them how we can professionally also grow. And then, of course, contributing in terms of approvals, reinvesting the revenues that we get from ER, and also contributing directly to approvals with scholarships or partnership that include also exchanges. Thanks.
Thank you. Torunai, you have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, first one, enhance IR, there are still improvement points for IR. And second, aligning the timeline for global network in order to work with them more and to have more results. And then the last one would be SOP implementation.
Thank you so much. Mariana, you can go.
Okay, so I think one of the things that caught my attention and I think would be a focus for the OD department is to make sure that I technically reach 80% of TIN standards, and that would be a main priority. And the second is about creating LCPs that are more independent and that have more capacity of leading a team and leading an LC. And the other would be to focus and taking the best out of the expansions and guarantee that our expansions strategy is going to be very important for the results we want to achieve. And I think that would be the three of it. But basically, that's it.
Thank you. Dani, you can go.
So as a three priorities, I would say the talent management of the area, because there are still two issues, understanding how to manage the people, and especially in LCs where there are very, very few talent capacity, understand which are the GD, how can we manage it, and also like we can improve the synergy with the TM for it. Then, as Torunai also said, if I'm not wrong, the SOP implementation in general is the area is very important. Also with the material that has been created some time ago, and it can help a lot the processes, not also sales, but also for global home and everything. And also another priority would be understanding for the national agreements what we can do, because we still have a lot to work from that side, and also understand how can make them sustainable and not in order to not having something happening again as Muir, that if the responsible change.
Thank you, Dani. Thank you so much. John, you can go. You have 1 minute.
Okay, for the first priority to IDV, I would say that support for how we do support for DVPs right now. So we have to evolve the how we make the tiers in IDV to make sure that we are giving the right support for each VP. The second priority is IR. So we have to make sure that each VP and each LC knows how to do LC to LC cooperations. And in the last global home, we have to increase the capacity to sell the global home and to give better experience to the host.
Thank you so much, John. Next question is for all the candidates, and the order is Martina, Torunai, Mariana, Dani, John, and Anna. And the question is, how are you as a teammate? You have 30 seconds to think and then 1 minute to answer. Marty, you can now go.
Thank you. So personally, I often ask for feedback or like opinion of what the other people are thinking in terms of what we should do and what is their opinion on, I don't know, what I created or something. I usually listen a lot. So if someone has to, I don't know, like let everything out and sfogare a bit, I don't know, whatever, usually I'm someone that listen. And in general, I try to support everyone and try to understand if everyone is, let's say, on board, but also in terms of mood, like if everyone is okay with working in that conditions. And I don't know, if I can support somehow, then I usually try to do it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Marty. Torunai, you can go. You have 1 minute.
In my team, people call me German machine. I'm very disciplined and structured. Usually, I give willingness for them to be more hardworking, and I'm usually supporter to be on the same page for them to be on the same page with me, and the same for them as well.
Thank you. Mariana, you can go.
Okay, so I believe I'm not the Brazilian stereotype of team member of being always happy and talking a lot. I'm a more shy and focused person, but I believe I always deliver all the commitments I have with my team, and I'm very operational, so I always fulfill my promises to the team, and I'm also very loyal. That's one thing that people always talk to me, because I always have people on their backs and they can trust me on whatever matters and talking things. So I believe I'm a good listener and a very loyal team member.
Thank you so much. Mariana, Dani, you can go.
Okay, so as a team member, I believe I usually bring positive and energy in the team, and I like to ask for help, but also to support other people. And I'm honest if there is to say something on if also somebody is not doing his or her job. And I work very hard and I'm very committed on what I do, and sometimes also too much in my own things. But then I manage that.
Thank you, Dani. John, you can go.
Okay, so as a team member, I'm really collaborative. I really like to work as a team, and I will be always the person that is really positive about things. In all my experience inside Isaac and outside Isaac, I always been this kind of person. Yeah, and be always like really energetic. We be always really engaged with things. That's it.
Thank you. Then Anna, you can go. You have 1 minute.
Okay, first of all, I'm surely a lot direct, sometimes too much. But the point is that I really like to have feedbacks. For this reason, I give feedbacks to people, and I try to be as supportive as I can. Also, when it comes to not just work, but also personal, point of view, let's say, because for me, personal connection is really important. Also, when it comes to work as a team. I'm really proactive and energetic. Sometimes it's the part that people see most of me. I'm full of discipline, actually, and this is something that is not that direct, because I like to have basic rules to follow. Otherwise, I'm not good in the way I know I have to relate with others. Thank you.
And the Q&A is over. Bravi, raga, you survived. Congratulations.
Okay, congratulations, guys. You survived this Q&A. So what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now is that within Saturday and Sunday, depending on time zone, whatever, you're gonna have the results of the voter confidence from the SCP, so from the National Plenary, and with that, you're also gonna have the instruction on the next step in case of positive voter confidence. So yeah, for now, that's all. Again, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you, guys, and congrats.
See you soon.
Bye.
You're free to go.
Bye.
Ciao,
Bye,
raga.
everyone.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.